Well, welcome to part six. I'm gonna get going on the roof section here. So we're just going to just close that down. We're just going to start with a Q cube as usual. So we just move the whole thing into position. Just mask these off and line them up as well. Maybe just bring these in a touch. Now we just cut in our edge loops. First of all, we can just use a clip curve, and just going to clip this off at the bottom. Or actually, we won't do that. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just and see that if you're using any of the clip brushes or the slice brushes, and you didn't want to be on that, you want to use your select rectangle, you can just tap control and it'll change over. Same with when you're in the masking. You're using a mask brush, you can just tap control. So hold alt and we'll just get rid of them and keep the top faces. And we'll just cut in our edge loops as usual here. So based on our drawing, we can just cut these in quickly. And we just line them up with the points on whichever corner this or this. Then we can just use I'll just drop that draw size down. Then we can just use our I'll just go to slide, and we can just slide these verts and line them up here with the other side of the dot. And now we'll just alt select tag these faces, and I'm going to just break these away, Q mesh or poly. So start dragging and just press control to break it away, and then we just control shift click and get rid of that part underneath. Delete hidden, we don't need that anymore. And now I'm going to Q mesh these up. So first we'll do what we did the other time. I'm just going to move, control click on one side or the other, and just drag it back. And you can see now, let's turn off the floor. Now we have our two parts perfectly matched up here. So don't need that drawn anymore for a few minutes. So now back to Q mesh a polygroup island, and we'll just come up whatever thickness we want and click on this one, and that's pretty much it. And then we can just move this one back in. Sorry, I'm just going to auto groups first, and control click on one or the other. Alright, so we're just going to move some of these points in now just to give us that gap right around. Right, so we're just going to move some of these points in now to give us that gap all the way around. So I'm just going to move this a bit closer. Sorry, I'll just control click to mask that and move this a bit closer. You can see there now, we just need to move them in ever so slightly. So we'll start with those ones there on this side. These, and these. And we'll just move them in. Sorry, invert the mask. Move them in a touch. And sorry, that was those already. Clear the mask. These, and these. Invert the mask. Clear the mask. Control click. And that is pretty good. Right, so that's pretty much that done. You know, we could have, as I say, created them with panel loops and got our bevels and everything for free, but we don't really need bevels because we're going to be using the QGrid smoothing. So next thing to do is just to control click on this one and just snap to the side, and then just line it back up again there. Clear the mask, and yeah, so that's basically it for the main shape of the doors. And now we'll just put these cutouts in it. So I'll just clear my mask and insert, and as per usual we get our edges in. So we already have one here, which is handy. We'll just use that, and one here as well. They're lining up perfectly there, and just get them on this side as well. So one there, one there, and there. And now we'll just tag these, and I'll get rid of the floor again. And we're just going to inset a single poly and just drag it in a touch. I'm just going to tag these again. Sorry, that didn't seem to have. Didn't do all of them, or did it? Okay. Now I'll just tag these. And they won't actually be coming up, so we'll just undo that and QMesh Polygroup Island, and we'll do that one, get it deep enough, and then we'll just click to repeat last on these and click. And I think I'll have a little have a raised panel maybe here, so I'm just going to add in yeah, I'll just add in a loop here, and just match them up kind of, and then we just tag these, and just QMesh up a tiny bit. Right, and now I'm going to turn on my dynamic subdivisions, and we're going to be using QGrid again with chamfer on, and we'll have to go up higher again with the QGrid. No, we'll bring the coverage down to 0, and something strange appears to be happening there. Chamfer, not too sure what's going on there. I think oh yeah, I must have had something selected on the bottom there, so we'll just see seems to be a strange hole or something there. So what happened there, I am not sure. I think that these ones might have went through, so we'll just go back a bit. See what happened there. Not too sure, so we'll just do that again. So we'll just tag these, add in our edge loops first, and then I'll check that underneath now before we do this again. Steady hand, and QMesh poly seems to be alright, and Q grid, we'll just set it to 5 for starters. And drop our coverage down. And put chamfer on. For some reason, I don't know what's going on there, it just keeps snapping the coverage back. So I'll just bring that up a touch. And that looks pretty good. And I'll just check with other material. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So now next thing to create is these hinges here. So the skin shade. So the hinges are more or less lined up with these panels here, so we can just insert the loop here and on here, and then Q mesh them in, and then I'm going to build the hinges then separately, like from their own model. Just check that. Looks good. Right, so we'll build the hinges next. Right, we're going to create the hinges now, but first I'm just going to inset these. So Q mesh poly. Sorry. Q mesh a poly group island. And we just right, we're going to create the hinges now as separate subtools. So first I just want to inset these parts here. If ever you're having trouble and it's earlier on, I was trying to, sometimes I'm trying to inset, I thought it might have been the creasing, but I think it's just a bug that's in ZModeler. So I found that if you're having a problem with operations that aren't working, if you just click make polymesh 3D, it seems to sort of get rid of that problem. That's just my guess now anyway. I know this is the first release of ZModeler, so I'm sure as patches and more releases become available, it'll obviously be improved and these bugs will be ironed out. So I'm just going to take that down and make sure that, sorry, when I didn't make polymesh 3D again, so I just have to set up this dynamic subdivision again, and Q grid of 5 and drop the coverage down. We could also use the creasing as well, that we used in the last section, but we don't really need to because there's no round parts on this. So with that done, let's turn on, we'll just do the same here. So if you just click, it's going to have stored the last operation we did, and it'll just repeat last. Okay, right, so that's the insetting done on the doors. And now for this, a pretty quick way to just set something up here is to just go to insert, B for brush, I for insert, and just insert cylinder. We just insert a cylinder, and now we can just hide that and split hidden, and just get it as its own subtool. And I think I'll just turn off the smoothing on that, and alt click on this to go over to that as a subtool, and turn off the smoothing. And I'm going to just instead of deleting all these extra edge loops, we can just come to the ZModeler brush and Q mesh a flat island. So Q mesh a flat island and just start dragging and hold control, and now we can control click and delete hidden just to get rid of that, and then we can Q mesh out again for the thickness and scale it up a touch. And now we'll just get get into position here, and maybe yeah, I'll scale it up a bit more. I'll use the uniform scale tool, shift clicking on the white circle, and just move it into position, and just get an idea of the size. Might be slightly too big, so I'll just scale it down a touch, a little bit maybe. Right, so I'm gonna make that. It's just I think the scale here is tiny, so it's giving me a little bit of hassle. And yeah, I think I'll go with that, and just freehand move it into position. And now we're going to duplicate this, but first I'm just going to inset this. Just bring it right down, and just click here to repeat it on that side, and we can duplicate it across now. So Control Shift drag, leave our gap in the middle, and then just press 1 and 1 again. Clear the mask, and we can rescale it there to size using the move transpose, and that looks pretty good. Now we'll just Q mesh a polygroup island, and we can just drag these across and join them up. And that's the basics of the hinges. That's the right, now we'll tag these. Sorry, I don't want the ones in the middle, just the outer ones. And Q mesh them out. I'll just move them into position. Invert the mask. And bring them out far enough so that we can clip them off. And clip them to the edge here. I just want to. I'm just gonna move them. Just move them back in a touch. Or sorry, move them out. Just barely up to the edge of that inset there. And back to Z modeler, and we will. No, actually, what I'm going to do is tag these and just hold down shift to move them back in. Tag them again, and then we'll just Q mesh them out just up to the edge, and tag them and Q mesh them out and join them up there. And then let me see, I'm just going to apply some crease in here first. So down to geometry, crease, and we'll set our crease tolerance to 30. It doesn't really matter because it's all 90-degree angles here. Well, obviously it does matter for the curve bits, but 30 should be fine. I'll just put up to 45 just in case. I'm going to set this down to 3. The crease level that I talked about in the last lesson. We'll crease that and subdivide it. And we'll just come to our dynamic subdivision and turn off Q grid and set this to 4. Set that to 4, and I'll just have to maybe down to crease again and just set this to 3, even though I already did. Now I just want to maybe put this back to 2. Doesn't seem to be updating there, so I'll just move this around, and it's updating there now. You can see I just had to fiddle around a bit with these, just move them up and down the sliders, and that gives us kind of, it takes that extremely hard edge off. So that's pretty much that, and maybe we'll just Q-mesh this in here, and in there, and then we'll just reapply our creasing. And that's the result that we get. Just one more check around, the creasing seems grand. So what we'll do now is just maybe we'll just add, I just want to try something out there maybe. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably move those. Yeah, we could move the doors. It's just the hinge. I was obviously going to be sitting flat, so I want to maybe move them up. No, I won't do that. I'll probably just go back to the door. Just bring the bottom of the door down, give a bit of thickness on the door. So we could just maybe inset a flat island, and then just Q-mesh it, polygroup island, and just bring that down until it's just, I'll do this first and then I'll bring them down together. So inset, and just remember the last settings, Q-mesh, same again, and then we can just bring these verts down, move, and just bring them slightly past the hinges, because we want to grab some faces off the hinge. Sorry, back to Zeb Muller brush. Maybe these ones, and we'll just inset them. I don't know what's happening there. Inset them, and we can Q-mesh them down, and just so it goes in through the door, just so you know, it's going to look like maybe just clip them off the bottom here. Too much. Yeah, I'll just clip them off, and that is grand. Yeah, that seems to be fine. Don't forget to add our creasing. Yeah, that'll do me. Now we'll just duplicate them out now. So Control Shift Drag, and there's a slight bit of difference there between the front and the back. The door, so just gonna scale that one down a touch. Sure, we'll just move the door. Just move the parts of the door instead. Keep the hinges uniform. Sorry, invert the mask. And just for pig iron, I will straighten these out here. And I don't want those ones masked on the outside, just these ones. And just this one as well. And that is that. And you selected mirror and weld on Z. Sorry, wrong one. Mirror and weld on Z. And now we have our doors created. And now we'll move on to position these. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'll pause it, and I'm just going to copy and paste the subtools into our main tank tool, and then I'll just move them into position, and I'll be back then when that's done. Right, so now we're going to create the alternate version of this one, which is going to be the weapon mount platform. So we'll just start by duplicating that out. We'll work on the duplicate, and we'll just start to adjust this. So I have Z symmetry on here, so we'll just work with the symmetry on. And let me see, I want to polymesh this, or Q-mesh this out as well. So, you know, as if it's kind of welded down rather than the hinges. So that's just a quick modification there. And now I'm going to get rid of these. So we'll just Q-mesh them down, and I want to bring that up rather than leave it flush. And what else do I want to do? Yeah, I want to create some sort of vents. So let's see what else we can do here. We might create the vents. Yeah, we might create the vents probably here. I'm just gonna mirror this in Z, and then mirror and weld it in Z. And before I mirror and weld it, I'll just we'll just grab these and just move them across. Sorry, just move them. Just turn off symmetry and just move them up, just so they go across that the center line of local symmetry turned on here. And we'll mirror and weld then again, back to Q-mesh, and we'll probably put the vents maybe here. I'm just going to move up this edge loop, so slide and just move that up just to make some room here for the weapon. Maybe move it up a bit more. I'll just take these and inset, or no, sorry, I'm going to insert a loop here first, and I'll just untag them and then tag them again, and inset a single poly. Just bring that in, and now let's see, we'll probably just maybe create five rows across here. So insert edge loop, multiple edge loop, and maybe drop that, so maybe raise that to 10, and see what that gives us. And now I'm just gonna take all these and we'll Q-mesh them down. and for whatever reason there it's just popping back up again. I just kind of tap shift and it seemed to work okay. No, I won't do that actually. I'm going to keep them flush. So we'll just select some of these here, and yeah, we'll just bring them down just to kind of give us that. See if we can go through all the way with them. No, so we'll just bring them down far enough just before they pop through, and have a look at that. Looks pretty good. And now what we want to do is probably just, this is all sort of, you know, sorry, I think I clay polished there by mistake. All this sort of stuff you can decide on yourself. It's just you know, it's whatever kind of design you're going for. I'm just kind of adding in bits and pieces where where I want to, basically. That's all there is to it. Unless you have a hard and fast kind of a design there in mind that you want to use. Let me see. What I'm going to do now is go back to the original. I'm going to duplicate that again, and I'm just going to move that out here, just so it's out of the way. I might just leave that one on as well, and I'm going to create sort of where's that other original one there, and this one here, and then I can hide the hinges. Yeah, so that's what I want to do, is create a smaller version of this, modify it slightly, and put it here so it's like a little kind of a hatch door. That's at the front, you know, if people, I don't know, need to reach up and whatever, do some maintenance work on the gun or something without getting out, or check for an ammo jam or whatever they do in fictional science fiction tanks that are built in the year 40,000. Right, so let's continue on here with this guy. So let me see what I do. I want to just probably make, yeah, I think I'll make these longer. Maybe make them a bit longer, and then we can use a clip brush. Another thing I want to do actually first is we're going to have our hinges. Same again with the lot. There'll be smaller kind of versions of the hinges. So yeah, I'm going to just to make it a bit different. Now we can leave that into the end. We can decide on that then if we want to change it at the end. So let me see. I'll just start by maybe clipping it here. Just clip it right. Maybe yeah, just maybe clip it here. And remove tool. And just kind of squash it in. And let's see what local symmetry on there. In X, I believe. And I'll just see what result that'll give us. So, sorry, mirror weld. Not in X, sorry, in Z. Nope, I was right the first time. So yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe, let's see, size it down a bit, and I'll just bring it over here and see so that, sorry, just clear the mask. I don't have symmetry. Bring it over there and just bring it up till it's sitting on top. Sinking in. We can adjust that again when the hinges are in place. So at the moment, I just want to scale it from here, so it's not out as far. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. And what we might do is just stretch these out and stretch this side out as well, just to kind of even them up a bit more, and maybe stretch it that way a bit more, and that looks pretty good. And yeah, I think we'll go with that. So now we'll take our hinges and duplicate them, and hide the other hinges. So I'm going to just want to I'll take these and delete hidden and delete hidden. And don't forget, if you start the mask or one of the clipping brushes and you want to change it to select rectangle, you can just tap control, because once you're using masks and selection tools, you don't have to hold the keys down. You can start it and then let go of the keys, so just tap control. It's handy. Sometimes saves you jumping up and down and to grab these other brushes, selection brushes. And so let's go again with this. So just shift click and go to scale, and we'll just scale that into suit. I'm just going to press 1 1 1 1, and now I'll just move it into position. And we'll need to scale that a bit more, so shift click on the white circle and scale a bit more. Pretty good. We'll just move that into position. About there is good. And let me see now. I just want to see what that is. So I want to obviously bring the hinge up. I want to sort out this bit now. So I'm just going to maybe do a bit of renaming first. So I'll call this weapon hinge. Weapon hinge, just so we know what's what. And let's see, I'll just put solo on and bring everything back. So that's weapon hinge. This is the original hinge. This is the original doors, so bay doors. This one is we'll just say any weapon door, and this one is going to be we'll just call this weapon mount. Right, so the weapon mount, I want to get rid of these here, so we'll just Q mesh that down, and we'll Q mesh polygroup island. Just bring that back to flatten it out, and do the same here. So maybe the vents now, I need to bring these vents back, so I'm just gonna I don't need all that, just move the space bar down, invert that, and we'll just unsolo so we can see where we need to move them to. And I want to hide the original bay doors, and now we can move these vents into position and see what that looks like. I think dynamic solo is on. I'll just hide the main hinges, unhide the weapon hinge. So this is our weapon door here. One other thing I'll do as well is, I probably should have did that at the same time as this, but it's no big panic. We'll just tag these. Yeah, symmetry's on, so it's okay. And just Q mesh that out and out again, and then we can just clip these to make sure they're the same size. And so I'd actually like them to be bigger, so make them a bit more kind of chunky. Okay, so that's the weapon doors done, and one last thing I want to do is just alt click to select these hinges. We'll just control shift and clone these into position there, and make sure we're happy. Clear the mask and mirror weld. Clear the mask. Local is on there. Let me see. Right, so for whatever reason mirror weld has decided to stop working, so not to bother, we can just duplicate it. Mirror and merge down. So merge down. Okay. So I don't know what was going on there. It's just it wouldn't mirror weld. So that is pretty much that. Let me see what else. I might just add a couple more. Come back to the weapon mount, and maybe we can maybe just add a couple of bits and bobs in here. So back to QMesh, and I might just I'll just change that back to it's a single edge loop, and I'm just going to add in a few here. One there. Actually, let me see. One there. Just QMesh these two up here. Do it, as I said, you can do whatever you like here. It's no hard and fast kind of rules. Let's have a look at that. They're actually a bit too big. I'd rather them. I don't want them to be that big. So I'll just slide this edge loop. Slide edge loop complete, and I'll just bring that in, just make them a bit narrower, and QMesh them up. Yeah, so that is our variant, and you can see how kind of quickly we could get that in there by using stuff that we already had made. So that's the end of part 6. So that's more or less the end of creating the tank. I'm going to, as a sort of I suppose whatever you want to call a bonus lesson, I'm going to create the double heavy bolters weapon that goes onto this mount next. And one other thing just before we sign off on the end of this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste these in. I'm going to leave all this the doors and save them as their own subtool, and then copy and paste them into the original tool, the main tool, as we need. The main tank, depending on what tank you want to use. And if I go back to the main tank and just select the body, we'll say, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around and add all the kind of rivets or the nuts or the fixings with the insert brushes. So I'll just solder that out, and you can pick whatever insert brush you like. If you go to machine parts, you see there's all different types of ones here, so I'm probably just going to use a plain sort of a hemispherical sort of a thing. So it's just a matter of finding one. Let me see. You could even use this half sphere. And then I'm just going to go around and just start dragging these on. But what I'm also going to do is I think I showed earlier on in one of the videos, if you just undo that, depending on your brush size, if you drag and press control, it's going to come in at that size. So you can press control and it'll snap to that size. And if you're wondering why everything disappears when you're using the insert brushes is because when you're in solo mode, if I use it now not in solo mode, it won't disappear. So I'm going to go around now. I'll make them a bit bigger than this, but you can also turn on dynamic up here on your brush, and well, it's going to stay the same because I'm pressing control, but dynamic, if you use dynamic in your brush when you're sculpting whatever, no matter how far in or out you move, or if you're using drag rectangle or something, it's going to always maintain the same size. So I'm just going to go around and add these in. And as I say, I'm going to make them bigger than that. So it's only draw size 1. So I'll try draw size 2. Press control, press control, press control, press control, and that is all I'm going to do. I'm going to go around the whole tank everywhere that I think needs nuts and bolts, or sorry, rivets or fixings. You know, here, any of the armor's fixed down here, maybe some on the doors, and just basically all over the tank. You can add in whatever details you like. So that's pretty much it, really. Right, one other quick thing I want to show. It's also kind of an extra. Depends on if you are creating the Rhino tank. There's all different chapters of Space Marines, and depending on which chapter you're going to create the tank for, you'd have different symbolism and logos and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to do it as an Ultramarines. So on the side of the tank, one of the references I have there, there's like a U, the kind of stylized U Ultramarines chapter logo. Then it has a skull in the middle of it. So I'm just going to create that really quickly. So I've just created a plain 3D, turned it into a polymesh 3D, and I've also you can see here I have this Ultramarines kind of, it's just an alpha kind of a thing I made. I just changed, it was blue and white, I think. I just changed the black and white, and I'm going to use it as a mask here now. So we just take our plane and divide it, just divide it up a couple of times. I'm going to divide it to 1,000,000, and go to geometry. Oh, I still get lost in these menus sometimes. Go to geometry and delete lower, and now we'll just hold control and drag out our mask stroke, and just going to center it up there, and press control W, and that'll make a polygroup. That'll make a polygroup from our logo, alpha, and then just control shift click and delete hidden. And now we'll come down to panel loops. So I have the bevel set to 0. Choose any thickness you want. You can adjust it once it's created. Polish set to default. Everything else is default except of loops drop down to 1 and bevel drop down to 0. And we just panel loops that, and this is what we get, and we have our polygroups in place. So we can just come down to deformation and polish by groups, and you can just drag the slider all the way up. You can see there it's going to polish out that geometry, and then if you want you can press this repeat to active, so you don't have to keep dragging that out. So at the moment, as I say, it's too thick, so we can use trim curve and bring it down to the thickness we want, and that didn't work, so I'll just try clip curve, and that seemed to work grand. And you could also just bring it in like this. And the other thing I have here is this stylized skull that I created, sculpted in the other tutorial series, the 40k Plasma Bolter. So I'm just going to reuse that, and you could take the two of these, merge them into one, and just decimate them down then, and we can use them. You can use them wherever you want. In this case, they're going to be on the doors here. That's why I didn't put this these steps into the door, because I'm going to put this skull and the U on, and then maybe take duplicate a version of it, a small little version, and maybe put it on the front, So yeah, that's all. That's all I did for that. And there was one other thing I forgot to do, and I'm only have to notice in there now. Um, and I might just show that really quickly. It's sort of the very last thing, which is I'm just going. It's a light sort of fitting that goes over this grill. So if I just solo this out, and we might just let's see, BI. We might just insert a half sphere in the center here, and scale up. Actually, I'll leave it at that, and turn on our polyframe, and I'll just grab this and rotate it. Why is it not? That doesn't matter. I'm just going to rotate that around, and get it about there. Maybe straighten it up a bit more. Sorry, I'll just fix it up a bit there. Okay, so all I'm going to do here now is go back to our Z modeler brush, and maybe I'll just bevel these edges. So bevel maybe two rows, and we'll just do that, and that, and then I'm just gonna Q mesh this out. So Q mesh a polygroup island, and I'll just Q mesh it and press Control. Sorry, am I on polygroup island? Yes, I am. So that should have worked for them there. They're all the same. Polygroup. Oops. So I'll just hide these as well. I don't know why that didn't work there. Not to worry. What I'll do actually is rather than I might just yeah, I know what I'll do here. I'll just add in some edge loops, some kind of control edges here and here. Sorry about this. I'm kind of rushing this kind of on the fly. As it's the very last piece that I forgot about, but it's a simple piece, you know. If you've been following along, you'll be well able to create this. So with that done, then I might just let me see. I'll try a swivel edge loop. See if this does the job. Give us the effect we're kind of going for. And let me see. No, not at all. So I'll tell you what we'll do here. We'll just I'll just I'm just gonna select these. Something weird happened there. Get rid of that swiveling, and I'm just gonna Q mesh these. There's other ways to do this as well. Could have created it from curve brushes using the frame mesh option, or there's other ways to do it. I'm just going to do it like this, even though this might seem like a crazy long way to do it. Should only take another couple of minutes. And I could have turned on symmetry in that, but as I say, I'm just sort of rushing, just to give an idea of what I'm going for. So I'll select these as well, and these as well, and inset a, sorry, that was on the edge, inset single poly, and just inset it a tiny bit, and just tap Alt as you do that to change the poly group. And now we should be able to QMesh a polygroup island. And hang on, I have a problem there. I forgot to add in these. 1, 2, inset polygroup island, tiny bit in, and now QMesh a polygroup island. And we'll just drag that out and just see what sort of results that gives us. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going for. You know, it's meant to be sort of just like kind of a cage around the around it, but we could also I'll just undo that. We could also QMesh a polygroup island and just press Control and drag it off and QMesh it out again, and then we could just hide these now. Oh, no, it doesn't matter actually. I'm going to come in here and just we can just QMesh that back in and just click on these other ones. I don't know what's happening there. It's not working. QMesh polygroup islands. I know what's happening. It's just sometimes it goes all weird, ZModeler, when you have some part of the mesh hidden. It's still going weird. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I'm just going to have a look at that anyway. You can see here, what, just give it a bit more detail around it. It still has an edge here. So we could also just we could actually try inflate a polygroup island and just push it out against the normals, and try swivel edge loop, pull it out just to give it a bit of roundness. Might have pulled that one out a bit too much. So as I say, this is just to give you an idea. I'm just kind of doing this quickly, and kind of, yeah, that sort of gives the effect that we are going for. We'll solder that out again, and back to move. Sorry, I'm gonna mask that, invert the mask, and just drag this slightly past that, and just kind of move it down to this bottom corner maybe. And I'll probably I'll do a proper finished version of this live for myself, or maybe just work on that one a bit more and smear and weld that across. I'll work on that a bit more for the finished version of the tank, but that was just because I forgot to do that during the series, just to give you just a quick idea of what you might be able to do, or try a few different things out, take a bit more time. So let me see, just before I go, I might as well add in these other things here. So we'll come down to no, that's the gun. We'll come down here, and I'm just going to rename this U logo, and skull is already named, so I'll just copy the U logo, or actually I'll duplicate both of these. I'll duplicate that, and then I'll take this one and merge down. Okay, I'm not going to do it here, but decimate these before adding them in. So I'm going to take that, the newly created and duplicated and merged one, copy that back to our tank and into subtools, and just paste that in there, and scale her down. Oh, sorry, I'm still on the lights. Alt click to select that subtool, and I'm just going to move it out there so we can see what's going in, and bring it down about there, I suppose. Maybe up a touch, just so I can center it up, and just tap on the surface there to align the transpose tool to the normal, and just get it slightly off the surface, and that's pretty much it. Now I'll probably also I'll just go to the side view and just drag out here and Control Shift and take a copy. As I said, you can decimate these first just to make them lower poly. So we'll just drag that out, Shift to constrain the rotation, and I'll just move it into place over here somewhere. Scale it down. Sorry, I'm going to have to use the scale, because even if that's masked it'll still scale it. So we'll just shift click and scale that down a good bit, and turn on transparency, and I'll just rotate this, rotate that sort of to the same angle there, and move it into position, and go to the top, and I'll just move it across, maybe center it up underneath that window thing there. Turn off transparency, and that is pretty much that. I'll go to Winston Clay. So yeah, that's that's the extras added in. Now the thing with this is, you know, you could just keep on going and just add in extras and customize it. And like I might take another model I've created, like a jerry can, and strap it on there, or maybe put some winch hook fittings and things like that there, so you can just model away and add bits on, and the more you add and the more detail, obviously the better it's going to look. So that's just it was just a quick thing I thought I'd add in, adding in the symbol here, the logo. And I've obviously, you noticed, I put all my rivets all around the vehicle. So I just created all them on each of the surfaces as insert brushes, and then I split them all away from the different tools they were attached to, and then I just shift click this arrow as I split them away, and that shot them to the top of the list. And then I just found where the bottom one was, went to the top, and just merged down and merged them all into one layer then. So you know, they're all one layer. So they're all one subtool, all the rivets and everything. And some of them weren't going to be, I mirror and welded them across, but I split some of them away that weren't going to be symmetrical first before I did that. So yeah, that's the extra bits. As I say, it's optional if you want to follow along, and we'll add in the twin bolt. I'm going to make, in this case, the twin bolters weapon mount. So yeah, if that's pretty much the ending. So I hope people enjoyed and learned a bit. And if this is the end of the row for you, I'll say cheers, thanks, and good luck. And if it's not, if you're going to follow me in the next one, the twin heavy bolters, I'll see you in that one. Alright, cheers, thanks for everybody's support and subscriptions and comments of encouragement. And if anyone has any suggestions or what they might like to see, tutorials they might like me to make, just give us a shout, leave a comment. Alright lads, cheers, thanks, good luck.